And welcome. Today we're putting up some of our bean harvest for the year, and we thought maybe you'd enjoy seeing how we do it. Pick them in the field in 5-gallon buckets, usually 2-3 at a time, so we can do small batches of canning at a run. This is what they look like when they come out of the field. Yep, there is some bad ones and things like that. We'll sort them out over here. We do that, we're going to cut out the bad pieces, put them into a bucket for the rabbits and the chickens and such. We're going to trim the ends off. We're going to cut the ends off here, as you can see. This is how it's going to start out, and this is how it's going to end up. We cut them in half just to save a little space in the jars and such, but sometimes if we're in a hurry or if we're lazy, we just cook them down like this. They'll be washed after this and then throw into pots to cook. And there is a danger of overcooking these to where they get kind of nasty when you put up. Really just kind of takes a little experience doing it. Oop, getting some condensation there on the camera. Sorry about that. We've been putting up the same style of beans now for about 5 years, so we're kind of getting used to that. And the one there in the back is done, and the one up front here is just about ready. We'll try to do several things at one time, so there's not a lot of sit and wait around time. So while this is going on, our pressure canner is warming up the water in that, and that's just about ready as well. Our jars are in a hot sink full of water, and we'll go right to start loading them. Alright, now we start filling our jars. These little funnels that come in the little home canning tool set kit that you can get at Target and Lehman's and some of these other places and such will have these. It's easier to load with the wide mouth jars, but the standard jars work well as well. We buy our jars typically on clearance at Walmart or one of these other big box stores at the end of the canning season, where they mark them down drastically and you can get cases of new quarts for sometimes as low as $4 and $5, which of course you're going to pay $1 or $2 for the lids alone, so fairly good deal. What we've done is we've filled it all the way up. We're leaving a little bit of a headspace here at the top and such, a little bit down from the edge of the neck. The other important thing to do is to take something non-metallic, big wooden spatula, the end of a ladle like this and such as well, and you're just going to run it around in there on the edges, and that's going to get all the air bubbles and such out as well. We do that. We take something like a cloth or a napkin here, and we wipe the edges of our bands really well where the seal is going to go. Now our lid and our band has also been sitting in the hot water. So everything, this is what they call a hot pack method. We're putting in hot foods into hot jars with hot bands and hot lids. Okay, we're using our super duper handy lid lifter here that also comes with our kit, and we're going to put that into our canner, making sure there's space on the sides. We'll load it with 5 more, making sure that they don't touch, and we'll show you that when that's ready. Failed to mention earlier, after they're cut or before they're cut, when you first take them in from the field, is the time to wash them also, definitely before you go packing them. Alright, we have our canner fully loaded. This is a pressure canner. Any of the low acid items, most of your vegetables except for tomatoes, things like that, have to be pressure canned. If we were doing something like some of the fruits and things like that, we could have done it in just a simple water bath canner, which is much easier to use. Always consult your instruction manual that comes with your pressure canner and such. This type is a dial type canner. We prefer this over the little jiggle top ones. It's just kind of idiot proof in that, and which is a good thing for me. One thing we've done once we've closed the top off is we want to release this little thing, and basically we're going to let this go. And you could see the steam here. Hard to see coming out. There you go. That should be a good view of it. We're going to let that steam release for 10 minutes. So we're going to set our little oven timer, and 10 minutes from now what we'll do is we'll come back and we'll put this back on, and then the pressure will allow the pressure to go from there. You need to get a good manual, like Putting Food By. We'll show a couple of books here at the end. What's that other one? Stocking Up 3. That will show you the different, every different fruit and vegetable has different processing times and such. So it's good to have a good reference books on hand for that. We'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, 10 minutes have passed of blowing steam out the pipe here. We're going to go ahead and put that on. What's going to happen is it's going to make these noises for a few minutes, and then we're going to start seeing the needle go up and our pressure will build up. What we need is yeah, and that's hot. We need 25 minutes for the quarts at 10 pounds of pressure. So we'll get it to that 10 there, and then we'll start our timer, run it for 25 minutes, and that should pressure can these beans. And our pressure has reached 10. We've adjusted our heat to keep it steady at 10. We're just right around. What's tough sometimes on a gas stove is keeping it at that 10 degrees, 10 pounds of pressure. We set our stove timer, and in 25 minutes our pressure can beans should be done, and we'll be ready for another batch by working ahead here. Our 25 minutes is up, and now notice the pressure dial there going down a little bit. We've shut the heat off, and the tendency is to want to try to relieve the pressure really quick, like you're pulling this or something like that. It's not recommended that you do that. Just let the pressure fall naturally. This is the slow part of the process, is waiting for that to come back down, opening it up. But what you can do in the meantime is you can have your next batch sitting ready to go into it. And your next batch after that, excuse me, working. We'll take a look at these when we pull them out. And after we've let our pressure bleed off, we're going to go ahead and unload and prep our next load. Always good to set these hot jars on a cooling rack. This is just a cookie sheet with a baking type rack with a cloth over it. Always check your lids and such. Make sure your bands are tight. Sometimes the lids won't suck down till a little while later. You can actually hear the pop, 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 pop if you do a big batch as time goes by. I realize there's different ways to can. Grandma Skillet might have done this or that different, all that good stuff. You know, this is just this works for us as far as pressure canning. Maybe later in the season when we do a little bit more of our fruits and such, we'll shoot a short video with that. We're going to get back to work here. Thanks for watching. For Robert Henry and the Survival Report, have a good day.